Good to see everybody today. I think we forgot to bring our sound system again, so I apologize for that. So I'm going to speak up, and all the coaches who come up before me, remember to speak up a little bit if you will, and we'll get started. So welcome to the October Cardinal Sports Lunch. We're glad that you're all here today. Hope you're getting your lunch and enjoying yourself. It's that time of year when we are in between. We can't really call it fall, we don't really call it winter yet, but then we have a beautiful day like this and it still feels like summer. So it's a great day to be here. And Coach Holly, it's a great day to be a Cardinal. Yes, absolutely. So we're going to have a lot of coaches talk today because we are still in our fall sports season, but our winter sports are getting underway, and we'll have a competition before we have another lunch. So I'm not going to talk a whole lot today. I'm going to let our coaches talk to you. We're going to start out with our soccer coach, Jefferson Robley.
Thanks, Arlene. Great being here. Great seeing a big crowd again. Jewel Soccer, we've got, we're past midway point in our men's and women's soccer season. We've had some very intense games recently. We're going to have a lot more intense ones. We actually have our senior game actually this Friday against Bellarmine. Should be really exciting. We've got 4 women and 7 men that are seniors here at William Jewell College, and they've had great college soccer careers, and we're going to be wrapping up another really good season as well. Our women's team is over 500, and right now if the season were to end, we would be in the GLVC conference playoffs. The men are under 500, but a chance if we were to win out to make the GLVC conference playoffs. So we've had some big games, big wins. This past Sunday we were at Illinois Springfield, and the women had a dramatic 1-0 win with 4 minutes left in the game. Scored a great goal by junior Jade Gifford, had a great goal to win it for us, and the men's team then won 4-1 over Illinois Springfield. So both the men and women won our last game, and so we've got a little bit of momentum leading into this weekend where we will play against Bellarmine on Friday, and then we'll play against McKendree on Sunday. Every game in the GLVC conference is huge. It's one of those conferences where whether you're in first or 16th, you're going to have a battle. So this time of year, it feels like every game is a playoff game. So at practice, it's intense like you want it to be. You know, the game has got that. All the games have those atmosphere that you want. So it's an exciting time of year to where every game, with success, you feel like your season is going to go on a little bit longer. Love to see you guys out at the game on Friday. Women play at 5, men play at 7:30, and then on Sunday against McKendree, the women will play at noon and the men will play at 2:30. It's great having all this success on campus here at Jewell, and we'll see you soon. Thanks. Go Jewell.
Now, Jefferson's a pretty busy guy. He coaches both the men's and the women's teams, but all of our coaches are pretty competitive people, and they all want to try to fit in as much in their day as they possibly can. So Jefferson admitted, kind of in passing to me, he did a little recruiting this weekend. They play 2 games at Southern Indiana, and then they go play 2 games at Illinois Springfield, which is quite a few miles in between Evansville, Indiana, and Springfield, Illinois. So he got on the bus and rode between here and there and managed to do some recruiting in the day in between. And then after the game on Sunday, he managed to get himself back to St. Louis in time to see the game that night, the Cardinal Giants game. So, yeah, he's a Royals fan, but busy people always manage to fill up their life with a lot of things, and we're all competitive at heart. So, Jefferson, you were the road warrior, for sure. And hopefully you found us a couple players while you were in St. Louis as well. Okay, very good. So, our volleyball coach, Carolyn Raines, is not with us today. Volleyball actually left this morning. Volleyball does an interesting thing that no other sport does. They do a mid-season tournament with the GLIAC Conference, the Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. The GLIAC and the GLVC do what they call a crossover tournament. So all 16 teams from the GLIAC and all 16 teams from the GLVC come together in one place, and I think it's in Illinois somewhere, and they have this huge 3-day event where they play each other. And so we will be matched up with 3 GLIAC teams over the weekend and take a little bit of a break from non-conference play. So they're kind of looking forward, I think, to having a little bit of a break from conference play. We have a very young team on the volleyball side, but our coach is doing a great job. So that's why she's not here today to talk to you. Next up, pinch hitting for our cross-country coach, Justin Gerard. We have our head track and field coach, Tom Eisenhower. And I think he was at one of the Royals games this week. Were you there again last night? Oh, so he's been to 2. So good for you.
Thanks for coming out today, and thank you for supporting our programs. Thanks for giving up some of your afternoon to spend it here with us. As Dr. Bailey said, our head coach, Justin Gerard, could not be here. He's actually meeting with the recruit right now, so he's busy building next year's team as well. We just came off of a great meet last weekend. We were scheduled to go to Southwest Baptist University. Unfortunately, due to heavy rains in the Bolivar area, that meet was canceled. So instead, we picked up a meet last minute at Haskell University and performed very well there. On the women's side, we were led by freshman Lizzie Stevenson, who posted a 19 minutes, 28 second time for the 5K, finished 5th overall. So for a freshman, she just did extremely well. On the men's side, they were led by Uriah Hetty. He's a junior for us, and he posted a time of 28 minutes, 0.1 seconds. Placed, I believe, 19th overall, so the men's team did really well. In this part of the season, we've got one more meet left before we head to the conference championships. That meet will be the Jacqueline Jocks Invitational, hosted by Missouri S&T. And then 2 weeks after that, we will head to the NCAA Midwest Regional Championships in 2 weeks after that, we'll go to the conference meet at Lewis University, and then following that, we'll go into the regional championships, where we hope to have an opportunity to qualify for the national meet. So appreciate your support. As Dr. Bailey said, I did go to the Royals game last night. I've been to quite a few, and I tell you what, it's really amazing to see when success in athletics can really bring a community together. And so I know that within the Cardinal community, I hope that the success that we share can help strengthen the community here, and you guys are part of that. So thank you and have a great day.
As you know, many of our games are video streamed. Our home games in football, all of them, many of our soccer, many of our volleyball, and Rick Cole makes sure that that happens. And Rick brought one of his assistants along with him today, Amanda Hamer, who's a student at Jewel that's very involved in the broadcast. So, Amanda, thank you for coming today. Next up, we have Coach Mark Gohl, swimming, and he's going to tell you about the newest addition to his program.
Thank you very much, and I do appreciate all of you being here and supporting Jewel Athletics. It's great to see such a big crowd today. We did kick off our season on Friday, October 3rd at the University of Missouri. They hosted the 9th annual Show Me Showdown, which basically consists of every school that has a swimming program in the state of Missouri, and there are 10 schools, including Missouri, Missouri State, obviously William Jewell, but Drury, Missouri S&T, a lot of the other schools in the GLVC. So it was a good opportunity to race, and it was the first meet of the year. First meet of the year, we usually get the cobwebs out a little bit. We see what we need to work on more going into the rest of the year. But we did end up finishing 8th on both the men's and women's side out of 10 teams. So we're climbing up a little bit, which was nice. And we had the highest finish individually on the women's side came from senior Maggie Metz. She finished 11th in the 500 free, and amongst all those schools, that was a solid performance. On the men's side, we did have a freshman from Curitiba, Brazil. His name is Joao Pedro Granado. He finished 6th place in the 500 freestyle at that competition. He beat all the Division II swimmers, and the only schools that beat him were Mizzou and Missouri State. So that was it's the highest individual performance that we've had at the Show Me Showdown, so we were pretty happy about that. Going into the next couple weeks, we have our inter-squad meet on Saturday at 1 o'clock. I know at least Paul's going to be there giving us updates on how football's doing, so we're excited to see how that is going on during our competition. But it's just an opportunity for our team to race against each other, swim some events that we didn't get to swim at the Show Me Showdown going into our bulk of our season. And it's going to be a good test just to see who can do what in what events, especially out of our freshmen, because we do have 20 newcomers to the program this year out of 49. So we're really learning a lot about our freshmen, seeing what they're capable of bringing to the table. And we're going to need to know pretty quick because we travel to Indianapolis and we are going to be competing against the University of Indianapolis on Halloween and then again on November 1st. And then we will have a home meet on Saturday, November 15th. Lindenwood and UMSL will be here, and I believe we have a 1 o'clock start at that time as well. So thank you very much for continued support, and good luck to everybody as they compete until next time. Thank you. We do have an assistant coach, and I'm very proud to announce that Patrick Richardson is our new assistant coach. He actually swam at Oakland University where I competed, so it's nice to have somebody with a familiar background. But Patrick saw a great deal of success as a collegiate swimmer for Oakland University. They transitioned to Division I when I was there. They've been Division I obviously ever since, but his team won 4 consecutive conference championships at the Division I level, which was a great accomplishment, and he scored in those conference meets. So I'm glad to have him. He's bringing a great wealth of knowledge, and he's been really taking a lot of time to work on the technical skills of all our swimmers. So welcome, Patrick, and thank you.
Okay, next we're going to talk about the other winter sport that's underway and has just started practice. And I'm going to let Coach Holly go first today. Coach Holly, men's basketball. He knows everything he needs to know about the starting lineup after just 2 days of practice? 1 day of practice.
Thank each of you, all of you, for being here. I know you're looking over either my left shoulder or my right shoulder at highlights of the Kansas City Royals, because that's what I was doing back there. My apologies to the speakers. Congratulations to all the sports teams, all the success that we've had. How about our football team being tied for first place in the GLVC at 3-0, huh? We did have our first official practice last night. That doesn't mean we've had any illegal practices prior to that. Prior to October 15th, we're allowed to be with our players for workouts 2 hours a week, and we've certainly been taking advantage of that, as has Coach Kress. We have 16 players on our roster. 10 of them are new, and we're excited about that. We think several of them will have an opportunity to play key minutes for us this year. We do open up 2 weeks from last night. Let me repeat that. 2 weeks from last night, we play at the University of Missouri. William Jewell has not played the University of Missouri since January of 1930, when in the dedication game for the new Brown Gymnasium, which is now Brown Hall. We're 0-3 against the Tigers all time. We'll see if we can turn that around. But we had a chance to play them in an exhibition game. Kim Anderson is the new coach at the University of Missouri. Very good friend. When we used to host coaching clinics, he came and spoke at the clinic. His children have been in our summer basketball camps. He's been a very good friend. One of our key players from a couple of years ago transferred to Central Missouri State a year ago, where Coach Anderson is, and led them to the NCAA Division II national title last year. And so Coach Anderson called me up and invited us down, invited to give me a little bit of money for our program to come down and play in an exhibition game. The exciting part is that it's going to be played at the Hearns, not going to be played at Mizzou Arena. The reason for that is they're putting in a new Panasonic scoreboard and video board, and Mizzou Arena is not available. Coach Anderson, as many of you know, was Big 8 Player of the Year in the 1976, went on to a great pro career, and had success as an assistant at Missouri, worked for the NCAA, but he's been kind enough to give us the opportunity to go down and play at the University of Missouri. Many of you know that after I graduated here, I went to the University of Missouri and got my master's. And how many of you remember the name Norm Stewart? Raise your hand if you know who Norm Stewart is. He's still alive. My year of graduate school at the University of Missouri was Norm Stewart's first year as the head basketball coach at the University of Missouri. So I'm telling my age, but I'm looking forward to that because I saw a lot of games in the Hearns, saw Kim Anderson play, appreciate the opportunity he's giving us. I want to say a word about our assistant coaches. John Addison in his third year, Matt Sherman in his second year are doing a great job. got to speak at a coaching clinic last night. A lot of our former players and assistant coaches were there. I am a Kansas City sports fan in all sports. Grew up in the Midwest and was here when the A's moved from Philadelphia. I couldn't be more tickled at what is happening right now with the Royals. I think everybody in this room that's a Kansas City sports fan shares that. It's unbelievable. And probably the person that's the happiest about this is Ned Yost, because Ned was ready to be fired when he put Ventura in the game a few weeks ago. But now he's 8-0 in the playoffs and on top of the world. So I'm pleased with that too. I want to say special thanks to Charlie Miller. Sometimes the folks behind the scene don't get the praise of coaches. Our training staff, along with our equipment staff, along with Rick Cole, a variety of people spend hours that people don't see. He was at our practice last night because of volleyball and women's basketball practice and our players having a 7 o'clock class. Our first practice started at 9 o'clock last night. And he was with us to the end of practice at 11. Did a great job. I want you to stand up and be recognized. Raise your hand here. Charlie is our athletic trainer. Does a great job. His staff does an amazing job. And I want to say a special thank you to Lucas Morgan. This is a little bit of an inside story, but we found out yesterday. We have 2 6'9" freshmen, one from Moldova, one from West Africa. The young man from West Africa had been ruled as a partial qualifier by the NCAA. I won't go into all the reasons for it, but Lucas has been working diligently with the NCAA to see if we can get all the information so that perhaps this young man could be deemed eligible to participate this year. And through his hard work and efforts and the efforts of our players' family, he is from West Africa, he has family in Benin and Ghana, and he missed a year of school, just to tell you what the problem was. And we got all the paperwork in, and we found out yesterday that he is eligible to participate this year fully. We're excited about that. When I announced that at 9 o'clock last night, it looked like what the Royals were doing yesterday when Moustakas threw it to Hosmer for the out. It was a love fest for this young man. And we're excited for him, excited for our year. How about a nice round of applause for Lucas Morgan over here who did a lot of work on that. Okay? Best of luck to everybody. It is a great day to be a Cardinal. It's a really good day to be a Kansas City Royals fan. Thank you very much.
Coach Kress, women's basketball. She's got the starting lineup all figured out too. She told me yesterday, but she probably won't tell you.
Following Coach Holly to speak always reminds me of when I was growing up and we had family prayer. There was like 7 of us and we'd have to go around, and I always followed my sister, who always thanked God for everything. And so you never had anything else to say. So Coach Holly covers everything usually right before me, and I appreciate that. And usually the rule is, Dr. Bailey, that I speak first. All right. And I don't have my starters figured out. I tell you what, it's a great group. Really excited about our team with their work ethic and how hard they're working every day in practice. Yesterday was our first day, but we've been able to do 2 hours a week. And it's just a really fun group, energetic group, really enjoy each other. We have 9 new players, so a big class of new kids, 7 freshmen, 2 transfers. Been really fitting in well. We've had a lot of fun with this group. We actually did the Tucker leadership, climbed the tower, and I brought my kids and family and did that, and I think I was shaking the worst. I'm not a big height fan, but it was a great team activity for us. We returned 7 lettermen, 3 starters from last year's team. This year we'll open up with Western Illinois, which is 3 weeks from yesterday. Western Illinois is Division I in the Summit League. One of the special things about this team is that J.D. Gravina is the head coach there. He was my assistant coach from 2001 to 2003. Has done a great job turning their program around. It'll be a fun trip for us. Again, he's somebody that I've stayed very close to and is very special to me. And I know he played for Coach Holly a couple of years before he came and decided to help us. So that'll be a lot of fun. That's November 6th that we do that. Our first home game is November 17th versus Avila. Avila's head coach also was my assistant coach here for 7 years. So this is an exhibition game for Avila. It'll be a counting game for us. November 21st and 22nd, we get to go to the Northwest Missouri State Classic and play. And we'll play Northwest Missouri State on Friday night. We'll play Pitt State on Saturday. Just really excited about this group and about practice. I didn't get a chance to tell the fall sports congrats. It's been a lot of fun watching you guys and following your success this year. Wanted to talk one last thing is about Coach Broughton. And I know a lot of you guys have know Coach Broughton has kind of followed his story. He was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer here in July. He's been my assistant coach for 4 years. William Jewell alum, so I know a lot of you guys know him, played for Coach Holly, went on, was a successful high school coach at Concordia and Truman High School on the boys. Switched over to the girls' side, Grain Valley, so that he could watch his son Jared play and have the opportunity of coaching his daughter Whitney. And retired from teaching and coaching and came on with our program 4 years ago. Really special person. It's a lot of people very special to me and to our program. He's an inspiration for our team and to me. He's been at practices. He's been doing chemotherapy since July. His first set of chemo didn't have the effect that they wanted to as far as he has cancer in his pancreas and liver. And it's kind of stopped the growth in the pancreas, hasn't in the liver, so they've switched up his chemo. And it hasn't been as hard on him. He's been able to come to practices. He has 7 weeks of this chemo every Monday. I know he appreciates your guys' thoughts and prayers. I know our players really look to him, and someone's very positive and is battling. And I know for me, I really appreciate you guys keeping him in your thoughts and prayers. And I believe very strongly he's going to beat this. And anyway, that's it. So thank you.
October 29th, Coach Holly already mentioned, the basketball team will be down at Mizzou at the Hearn Center. That is going to be a free event, so if you hear of anybody that thinks that they might want to go to that game, they are not selling tickets for that event. So it's free admission. We are looking at, don't have the details together yet, but looking at some kind of an alumni function before that game. The game is at 7 o'clock. Thank you for reminding me. 7 o'clock. So we are looking at some kind of a function before that we'll get out to all the appropriate constituencies once we have the details. Also on October 29th, and I know Coach doesn't want to get too far ahead, but we will host Rockhurst in soccer that very same night. And before the Missouri game got scheduled and we knew it was all going to be the same night, we also have planned an alumni event for that night at home, an alumni tailgate. And information is out or soon to be out about that in the parking lot, and also a costume contest for kids that we hope some of our alums will come out, our Jewell faculty and staff. Even if the athletic department brings their kids, we'll have 35 kids in the costume contest. So we hope that we all participate, but it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be about 7 o'clock on that night, October 29th, between the men's and women's game, costume contest, some treats for the kids down on the north end of the track. At the same time, on the other side of the fence, because it's officially a tailgate, we'll have a tailgate for alumni and friends of the program. So tell people about that. Should be a fun night. Rockhurst, of course, is a big rivalry, and as Jefferson says, they're all important, but I think that one might just be a little bit more just because of the recruiting implications and all those kinds of things. Last but not least, I'm going to bring up Coach Cruzy, our football coach. I'm not going to take away too much of his thunder because he's going to tell you about last week, but sometimes I tell you all about what it's like to sit in my seat and some of the experiences that I get to have. And you always look and see how your teams are picked, and you always want them to be picked higher, and you always want them to do as well as they possibly can. And while you never want them to be picked low, in my seat you always get a lot of, oh, wow, if things are happening a little bit differently than everyone predicted. So I've gotten a few emails this week and a few comments from my conference colleagues, so it's always good to get that. And the other thing I would tell you is sitting in the stands on Saturday at Truman, you always want your PA announcer to be encouraging for your team. So the home PA guy is always a little bit that way, PA guy or gal. But sometimes they go a little bit over the top. And I got to tell you, I was a little mad at the Truman PA guy on the first half of that game because he was a little over the top and a little overconfident. But the second half, I decided that was just fine because if the players or the coaches heard just a little bit of what I heard, they might have a little bit of extra motivation. So he was a little overconfident, and that just gave me a little bit even more motivation to hope what happened the second half did. So very exciting. So I'll bring up Coach Cruzy.
I like Coach Kress. I guess I never envisioned myself as a Greg Holland closing type. I always thought, like Coach Kress, that was Coach Holly's role. But excited to be here at the point we are in the season. Thank you for all being here today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the season here in just a little bit. But before I do that, I want to introduce somebody that I have here with us today, one of our players that's doing some really great things for us. He embodies what we think about when we think about a student athlete, for all the things he does off the field, and plays this game of football like I believe it's meant to be played. Like every play is his last. He's a wide receiver for us, as is noted on our roster, but he does everything for us, from being a swing kind of guy on our punt team, to kickoff return, to punt block, to whatever we've asked him to do. He does it, and he does it a million miles an hour between the whistles, and he's physical while he's doing it. And can't thank him enough for his efforts. He was voted onto our team council this year as a junior, which doesn't happen very often. So I'm going to let him talk just a little bit. Feel free to ask him a few questions if you have any, and then I'll jump in after that. Our wide receiver, number 18, Nate Agarawa. Talk loud, because that's just for TV.
All right. Thank you for having me here. I'm just really excited to be in front of you and let you know about how we're doing this year. We're right now 3-3 and 3-0 in conference, and we're making a lot of positive moves on for offense and defense. And be at the top of the conference is a huge step for us, and we're really happy to be there. A lot of people from these last couple of years, like the seniors right now, they haven't been able to be at top of the conference. So this is a really good step for, them and for us, for my class, and also for the freshmen to see how we're going to start doing things from here on.
Where are you from, Nate?
I am from Columbia, Missouri. So I right here in between of St. Louis and Kansas City. So I guess I'm both a Cardinals and a Royals fan. So I get the best of both worlds if the Cardinals can make it, and of course Mizzou right there at home too. So I went to Rockbridge. Yeah.
Do you have any questions for Nate?
I mean, I played a little bit back in the day, but it would. I mean, I'm doing everything, so I'd definitely give it a shot if I had to, if we needed it. Yeah.
What's the difference in your eyes?
Putting your hand down, I guess. I don't know. I haven't played a whole lot of tight end, so I don't know the the whole blocking scheme wise. Helping with joined with the tackle and who to block on certain plays. So it's a little bit different. Wide receiver. Usually as big as I am, I'm bigger than most corners or safeties or something. And now when I go down there, I'm playing people the same size as me, bigger than me at DN and linebacker. So it's a little bit different, making me feel, like I have to step my game up to be able to play in the box.
Any other questions? What's your major?
My major is psychology, pre-PT, pre-physical therapy, and I'm a comm minor.
Thanks, Nate.
Thank you.
Nate didn't know he was going to do this today. We actually, after wins, we pick players of the week, and we pick offense, defense, special teams, pick what we call a work team offense and defensive player, which is our red shirt players that work against our offense and defense each week in practice. And then the last 2 weeks, we've created a new honor, which is our overall player of the game. 2 weeks ago, it was Glenn Whitney, who's played for us offensively, and then in the last 3 weeks now has played some at linebacker as well, and has a huge production line on both sides of the ball. And then on special teams as well, he was it last week. Nate was our overall player of the week this week for all of the things that he's doing. and we have a sports lunch or a lunch over at Hy-Vee where Hy-Vee hosts us, all of our Players of the Week lunch. So we were over there having lunch at about 11, and I asked if we'd come over and do this today, and so thank you, Nate, did a great job. But like Nate said, we've got a few good things going on. We had some growth early in the season. We're currently 3-2 against Division II opponents and 0-1 against Division I opponents. We, as some of you may know, we lost in Week 3 against Valparaiso University. We had beaten them last year at their place on the road. Had a significant lead in the first half against them this year and couldn't hold on to it in the end. So we dropped that one. But we're currently 3-0 in our conference play right now with 5 conference games to go. And the other exciting things, which I'm going to share with the players today, is that we are 3-0 in the state of Missouri. There are 5 football playing schools, 4 that we play in our conference in the state of Missouri, and we're currently 3-0, and we get a chance this weekend to finish the season potentially 4-0 in the state of Missouri. And why is that important? In this state, as it's our home state of our home recruiting base, anytime you can show that kind of success in your home recruiting area, that really helps going forward. So we are extremely focused on our goals for this weekend. You know, and Dr. Bailey alluded to it a little bit in the fact that there weren't a lot of expectations from the outside world for us going into it. That's why I can't tell you how proud I am at this point of our team and our young team, as we only start about 4 or 5 seniors on our whole team of this group, and how they've come together and worked through some adversity early on in the season and have been playing very well as of late and plan to continue that. Like I said, we have 5 conference games to go on our schedule. We're on the road this week at Missouri S&T. We are home on October 25th, which is a week from Saturday, against Quincy University, who's in our conference as well. And then our last home game will be, I believe, November 8th against St. Joseph's University, who we played the last game of the year against last year. They're picked, I think, 2nd or 3rd in the conference preseason. And I think they're 5-1 right now. We lost against them at their place the last game of the year last year in overtime. So we're looking forward to what we have to come yet. You know, some would say, you know, you've accomplished a lot. Well, if you talk to our players right now and our coaching staff, and a lot of them are sitting in the back of the room here, and those guys are doing a tremendous job with everything that they handle on a day-to-day basis. But I think if you talk to them, they would tell you that they've got a lot of respect yet to earn. And that's been the goal each and every week in conference play this year, and we look forward to continuing that. So it's been fun to sit here and listen today to all of the other sports, both fall sports and the winter sports that are getting ready to get started. There's a lot of really exciting things going on in this city. And, you know, I'm a Royals fan as well. I remember the '85 World Series, barely, but I remember it. And my son's so excited. My 6-year-old son right now is so excited about the things that are going on with the Royals. The thing I'm most excited about and why I hope they continue to win is since they've been undefeated, William Jewell football has been undefeated. Kind of started at the same time when that kind of run started. So we hope to continue that and plan to continue that this weekend. Thank you all for coming this afternoon, and we will see you the third Thursday of November, correct? All right, thank you.
It's great to see you all today. I always like to hear from our coaches. As Coach said, we have really busy people. I gave the story about Jefferson. Our coaches work extremely hard, but the one thing I'm very proud of, and I think is really important because we're influencing 400 students at William Jewell College, is our coaches are people. And they care very much about their job every day, but they also find time to do the other things and spend time with their families, go to their kids' soccer games, go to other things. I think even Coach Cruzy found a time to sneak away to a Royals game. And so it's really important that they do that, and they're really great role models for our student athletes because it is about the sport, but it's also about incorporating the athletics and the sports you love into your life as a whole. And I'm really proud of how our folks do that. Have a great day, and we'll see you next month.